Alright, so looking under the hood of a car like this, you know, getting ready for the winter time, there's really only a few things that you need to check. The main one, and the really obvious one that most people know that live in colder climates, is your coolant, your antifreeze. You can test this stuff very quickly and easily to see you know, what temperature this stuff's going to freeze at. So if you haven't changed your coolant in a long time, maybe you're driving an older car, it's usually a good idea, and even in a modern car, it only takes a few minutes to get the small tool to check how good your antifreeze actually is. This stuff does break down over time. Maybe over the course of the summer you added more water to it for some reason, and you might find that your antifreeze has degraded to the point where it might freeze at, you know, 10 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Fahrenheit. If that's fine for where you live, great. If not, it's very easy and cheap to just change your coolant. And a lot of people end up having to do that before the winter time. That's no problem. It's the same thing with your washer fluid. You know, summertime washer fluid doesn't have the same anti-freeze properties that the wintertime stuff has. So you might find if you're running, you know, a Florida car up in New Hampshire in the wintertime, that your windshield washer fluid's going to freeze on you. It'll freeze up in the little nozzles. It might freeze in the bottle. It can crack these hoses. It can crack that tank. It can lead to some other problems. So again, it's very cheap and easy to just buy a gallon of the anti-freeze windshield washer fluid, so that you know you can melt ice off of your windshield, you can melt snow off of your windshield as you're driving around, and you'll always have good visibility going down the road. It's the same thing with wiper blades. These are winter wiper blades. You can tell that they don't have, you know, the springs and linkages that some of the other wiper blades you've probably seen have, that tend to freeze up. So these will stay pliable, and they'll always conform to the shape of the windshield, because I think everybody's probably driven around when your wiper blades freeze up and then it's only swiping maybe 3 or 4 inches of the windshield that you got to look out of. So winter wiper blades, winter washer fluid, both excellent ideas. Make sure your coolant's up to snuff and good to go there. The other thing that we tend to find sometimes, and you've probably seen truckers on the highway running around with shields in front of their radiators. Well, what are they doing? Well, what you'll find is, on a cold morning especially, say it's, you know, 5 degrees Fahrenheit outside, well, if you're doing 60 miles an hour, now there's a 60 mile an hour wind chill. And I don't know the quick math on it, but that means that your radiator's now exposed to, you know, -10, -20, -30 degrees. The faster you're driving and the colder it is, the more that wind chill effect has on your radiator in here. So even if your coolant might be good till -10, might only be 0 degrees outside, but if you're driving 50 miles an hour, now you've got a problem where the coolant in the radiator is going to freeze. And when that happens, as strange as it sounds, coolant can't flow through the radiator anymore because it's blocked off, and your engine's going to overheat. So that's one issue that people do run into, and it's very simple to maybe carry. I've used a piece of cardboard and tape before, some zip ties, some plastic, whatever you might need on a very cold day, to certainly block off a part of your radiator. To just slide in or up, or whichever way you need to maybe block off half of your radiator or something like that, so that it doesn't super cool itself in the wind to the point where you actually overheat the engine. And that's an important thing to do. The other important thing to keep in mind, if you have a little off, if you crash into a snowbank or something like that, or snow gets jammed up on the front of the car here, no air is going to pass through the radiator at that point, and again, your car can overheat. So if you drive through a big pile of snow, or you get stuck in a ditch and snowbank and pull it back out, clean out the air from around the front of your car, just so that you still have that passageway for the air to get to the radiator.